Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
And you get in the country without, them asking 1,000 questions because you have everything in your hand. You've got the documentation to enter the Philippines. So we're very, we take this really serious. I mean, I know
It's like strict process, but guaranteed results.
Yeah, we guarantee that if you follow the steps, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get the visa and get in. And I mean, even the Philippine consulate tells you getting the visa is no guarantee you'll enter. People have to understand that visa still, it gets you in, but you gotta when you get to that IO, don't upset them. Don't cause them to feel like you're talking down to them or you're better than them. You
really have to be nice.
Yes, super nice,
Because they have this immigration officers in the Philippines is well trained to intimidate you. So they will know if you're so nervous. They will know if you're up to something. They know.
Right. So that's the thing. We tell everybody, smile, be kind, say thank you, yes sir, yes ma'am. I said, listen, your goal is to have them take that stamp and go boom, and hand that visa back to you and say welcome to the Philippines, and then go spend time with your bride. And we've had that. The success has been really good. I mean, we had a guy from the couple is what's his name? I call him Chris, but he has a Thai name, and Melanie, that's a couple. He's from Malaysia or Thailand or somewhere like that, one of those countries. And he had to ask permission from his country to go to the Philippines even after they were married, right? So yeah, he had to get this permission to go see his bride. And he finally was able. She's from Cebu. So we were excited when he got in, and it was like he was like everything was ready, and then COVID, like more COVID restrictions in the Philippines, so it delayed everything. But then finally we got they let us know, hey, Chris is here, he made it. So see, and we've had him get in from all over. Finland, let's see, where we married him? Gosh, we married him from all over. We have two. We just married two this week from Canada, so we have 4. Out of those, we've already had 2. No, we have 5 now from Canada. 2 have already gotten into the Philippines. I think the one guy, for whatever reason, he hasn't gone yet, but they're getting.
That's my next question when you mention Canada. Because I think we have 4 or 5 subscribers from Canada, and they really want to do the online wedding. Their problem is they said Canada doesn't recognize online wedding. I was like, I think it's not the Canadian government that you're trying to convince. It's the Philippine government that you try to convince that you are married to a Canadian. So how are you guys going to assist on that for them?
Well, it's the same process. And what I try to get everybody to understand, this is a U.S. marriage.
Yes.
It falls under the laws of the United States.
Yeah.
So because of the Hague Convention, none of these governments can tell you you're not married or try to deny the legality of it, right? That's the whole purpose of the apostille, right? The apostille says, like,
you're married.
This was my marriage certificate, right? And it has the apostille on it. It says this document is valid.
Yep.
Right? And it's valid and recognized by almost 200 countries now that fall under the Hague Convention. So all of these countries have said we will recognize the validity of these documents when an apostille is applied to it because we signed this Hague Convention treaty, right? So if the document is valid, that means what the document represents is valid in other countries because the U.S. already recognizes it. It's a legal marriage under Utah law. It's not even an online marriage. It's a virtual ceremony, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing on your document says you were married online.
Yep.
It says you were married in X state, X city in Utah. Like all of ours will say Salt Lake City because that's where our officiant is, Salt Lake City. So when the marriage certificate comes back, it says they were married in Salt Lake City because that's really where they were married. It has to do with basically the Utah, and even immigration says that it all based on where the transaction took place. So because Utah, this is a recognized, but other states are doing this now. Utah's easier because there's no resident requirements. You don't have to be in this, you don't have to like live in Utah. Like Texas, there's still, I think, resident requirements. And then they charge extra money if you want to do it virtually. So in Utah, they just made it a real easy process, right? So, you know, we just work to get this as smooth as possible. And see, we don't even hide it's Utah. We tell people, well, once you pay the fee, we're going to send you a link to get your marriage license done and all of that. So we don't hide they're going through Utah because that's the entity that we're working through. We don't even collect those funds. That all goes directly to Utah. See, so we don't add that to our fee or none of that. We don't control it. Like we'll fill it out. This is a big secret. It's not a big secret. It's something that anybody can do on their own. But as we've already experienced, you've experienced it, we've experienced it. When you don't follow those specific steps, the Philippines is like, we don't care. You didn't do it the way we wanted it. And they send it all back. And that's the key. We always tell everybody, listen, guys, you're not paying us for the marriage, so to speak. You're paying us to help you expedite this, get it done right, get it done the first time. Because when you're in another country and you're having to send in documents to a consulate in the United States, the last thing you want is for that stuff to come all the way into San Francisco, sit there for weeks, and all of a sudden they're processing it and they see a mistake. And if it's a big mistake, they won't reach out to fix it. They just pack everything up and
send it
back. So now you've lost that time. You're out the money that you sent to send it here, to send it back, right? So that's why we're real particular on just let us help you guys. Let us get you through the steps and be patient. These ROMs were taking 15 working days.
Before? Not anymore.
Now
not anymore.
It seems like they're taking 8 to 12 weeks to process.
Yeah, well, it's like,
and you got to think they probably only have 2 people in that office. They probably, and they were not expecting this. Nobody was.
No,
right?
It's like
not even Utah, because we communicate with Utah and they actually beefed up their whole system. Now it takes international addresses. Before you had to put a U.S. address and then submit it, then get your documents and then send it back. Hey, by the way, this is actually where she lives in the Philippines. Here's her address. And then they would fix it and then send it. So they actually put in the money to make it where now you can plug in the international addresses. But I don't see this going away. I don't even see it slowing down. I think that as things continue, whether we ever get back to whatever was normal, people are still going to do this.
Yes, actually they do.
Especially like me, for example, as I get involved or something, I would see doing this also because in my mind, there's a couple of reasons. a U.S. marriage, when you're dealing with United States immigration, has a stronger position than me marrying them in the Philippines. That's a foreign marriage that they have to deal with and look at and all of that. If I marry her here, so to speak, right, it's a U.S. marriage.
True.
It could shorten the timeline. They say, oh, they got married in Utah. And then, of course, it's the mind of who's ever processing your documents in the U.S. is different. It's a U.S. citizen. They married here. You'll be surprised how that shortens timelines and things like that. And then, I mean, our immigration here probably lacks compared to other parts of the world, but they still have a process to put it through, you know?
Yes.
And because I know guys that got married there and it took over 2 years for them to get their CR1s.
Oh, now that brings me to my next question. When they do the online wedding on your company, they have the marriage certificate and all that. Will they be able to use that marriage certificate when they file for their spousal visa, the CR1? So they'll be able to use that, the paper, the marriage certificate that Utah courthouse.
Yeah, they'll file it with our immigration here. Yeah, and here's the thing with that, since we're on that subject. The big thing people were saying like a year or so ago is that's not legal. The U.S. it's not legal for immigration.
Mm-hmm.
They were thinking the wrong thing because they would say that's a proxy marriage. It's not a proxy marriage. Proxy marriage would be that you and Forrest are going to get married and he's deployed, U.S. military or something, right? And he can't make it. So he has a brother stand in for him. That's a proxy marriage. You're not marrying his brother, you're marrying him, but he's stuck in the middle of a war. So he can't show
just
up.
Representing him.
Right? Yes. And then you have to consummate, which means you got to get together at some point for them to say, okay, it's legit. This is never that. It's the two of you are together. You signed and filled out the documentation. You present at the ceremony. So it's never been a proxy marriage. And trust me, I looked at the immigration laws. They say, oh yeah, that's legal, man. And it's legal as far as immigration here goes also. So that was a big mix up and hope for a while. And you know, I'm not in any of the Facebook groups anymore because I just I got tired of actually getting attacked. So I just got out of those groups and then and you know, because everybody on Facebook's a lawyer. So I just stopped listening to all of it, but got out of the groups, didn't want to deal with it. But we married a lady, Deborah and Jonas. That was our first couple. She's actually a law graduate from the University of one of the universities. I don't know if it's the University of Philippines, but she's actually
UP, University of the Philippines.
Taking her bar November because she's actually going to sit for her bar test to be an official lawyer in the Philippines. Yeah, but she did tons of due diligence. Trust me, she examined everything when they first started talking to us. And she actually got on some of those groups and would post the different sections in the law, and people would still argue with her. And so she's like, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm a law student, and this is what the law says. And it just, you know, now, of course, people start seeing the success. They realize, oh, wait a minute, this must really be real because these guys are getting in the country as a spouse. So, you know, that it's good to see that, you know, we like when the couples get together and they start posting on Facebook, it really I really feel touched by it because we played
Yes,
some small role in helping them finally get back together, you know.
especially to those who have waited so long to be reunited. And I like the way you guys assist those couple, because I know most of them are impatient, so impatient. They want this process quick. They want it the next day. And I like the way you guys do it, because you explain to them that this is not going to be a cakewalk. We will go through a process. It will take time. You just have to be patient and follow the rules, follow what documents need submitted, and you should be able to get into the country pretty quick. So I actually like that, because others would just, as long as they get their money, they're gone.
Yeah,
So,
we don't. We've refunded money for folks. Well, yeah, because like we had a guy recently that this is why we just don't. It's like, why fight someone if they feel like, oh, this is, I don't really want to do this. So we just give them their money back, right? Don't even, okay, yeah, you don't do it, fine. Here's your money back. Like the guy, he paid for everything, and then it's going to impatience. This is how it's really funny how people do things. He paid, and then he emailed me. Well, I have like I say, I'm building a business, and my email can get flooded, right? Like getting 100 emails in one day is not an exaggeration. So I always tell everybody, if you send me an email, send me a message through Messenger or something. Hey, Mike, I just sent you this. Go look for it, please find it. And I will immediately go hunt it, right? Especially when we're doing these marriage processes. He said, well, I emailed him. He didn't respond. And of course I did. I mean, I can track everything. I responded within 24 hours. Hey, I got your stuff. We're going to start. And I already have started sending him the form that we have them fill out for the ceremony, how they want their ceremony. See, we give them we let them make their ceremony their own. So like if they have their own vows, they can do, we've had one that one of the young ladies sung a song. It was really made me cry. And, so we have a form. We say, or do you want, do you have your own vows? Do you want like a religious service or a civil service? Because the lady that does it is a minister. So she'll do a religious service if that's what they request. So, we try to make it their own also. And we just, of course, some of this takes time back and forth, a couple of days, right? And the guy got impatient. He said, you're a scam. He reported us to PayPal. Lucas is like, well, that's not really going to help him because we have a track record. So he just told the guy, well, I'll just refund your money, man. That's fine, because if you don't feel like, he's like, dude, we're working as fast as we can to get everything going for you. And it was like he paid and he expected everything instantly. And so Lucas said, no, I'll just give you your money back. So he refunded him. I mean, so that's our mindset, right? We're not here to take your money. If we provide the services and do everything, of course, then all of a sudden 3 months later you say, well, I want my money back. That's probably going to be a problem. But if you come in here and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you think, oh, I don't know, maybe they're a scam or something, Lucas will be like, give me about 5 minutes.
I'll send your money back.
Send the money back. Because, we just don't want that kind of reputation. So
when you do the online wedding, you guys actually do it, or Utah?
No, I have an officiant in Utah that we use specific. Have you been to our website and seen?
No, not yet. I've been to your Facebook page, not on the website yet.
On the website, you'll see her picture.
Okay.
She's been an officiant and a minister for like 20 years. She did this face to face for people for many, many years, right? And then she has been a Utah officiant for a long time. So she really doesn't have to be an officiant for Utah because she's a licensed minister, right? In the U.S., like I'm a licensed minister.
Yeah.
I don't have to be on Utah's officiant list because I can marry anybody in any state that recognizes my license.
Yeah.
There's only a few states that are kind of like quirky, like New York. No, you got to have it's like, so we don't marry, I wouldn't marry anybody in New York, and it's like I have to be in New York. So they're kind of one of the weird states. But as a minister, you can marry anybody, right? You just document, you're signing, you're married them as a licensed minister, and that's valid in the United States, right? So she's been doing this for years, and she's a real romantic. And that's why we ask questions on tell us your story. We want to know kind of how you met, give us your story. So like as you go on and if you see any of our videos, you'll see.
I've watched some of the videos on your Facebook, and I like the way she marries them because she follow a particular format.
See, that's why we do, like that's why I put together the the coordination form, right? Was that?
Yep.
So like once I get their documents that they send to me, they email them to me, they say, hey, I got my application, we got all that. Okay, they send me that. Then I send them that form and they fill that out. And we want to know something about how you met, what kind of give us a little bit of their backstory, right?
Yep.
Because Sharon will weave that into the ceremony.
The ceremony. Yep.
Yeah. And then we do ask, do you have your own vows you want to read? Do you actually guys want to act like you're exchanging rings? I mean, we try to make it as much as a special moment as possible. Right. And then what we do also is once she says, I now pronounce you husband, wife, may, and she presents them, we don't like cut the video.
Yep.
I've let them sit on the video for another 20 minutes, just talking, the family's talking, and I record all that. So, they're talking back and forth, because it's Filipinos are all about celebration.
Yep.
So, I don't cut them. I don't like, okay, we're done, boom, and end the thing. I let them go on. Like today, they went on almost 30 minutes.
Wow.
And then I said, hey guys, I'm going to end it. Because some of them you can tell they're starting to like, do we keep going? But they were walking around the house. They were showing the spread. And I was like, oh, y'all going to eat lechon? And then they looked at me.
Yeah.
that,
Lechon is a must.
The big spread on the table and the decorations were up, of course, and then they were making toast to each other. And, you don't cut that off. You got to give them some opportunity to make it. And the other thing we do is we give everybody their video. We don't say that's our video. That's our proprietary property. We don't do that. I send them the video. I tell them just download it. Like I send them a link that gives them access to get in and pull the video. And I say, be sure you download it because this link will expire in so many days. So just get it downloaded.